Alright guys, middle C on a guitar. If anybody's ever, if this relates to anybody, you've sat in front of a piano or someone, or you stand in front of a piano and someone's like trying to teach you something, but you never really learned how to play piano, so it doesn't really matter to you, whatever, but you do play guitar. If you've ever been curious because you know someone who plays piano, or maybe you learned something on it, and you know where the middle C is located on the piano, which would be dead center of the piano, all the keys. Just so you guys know, there's probably about like 88 keys on a regular sized piano. So as of right now, we're just going to talk about all those. Well, talk about all of them, I guess. But if you go all the way to your, like, use your left hand on piano, you've got the notes C through C, and then if you were to go all, that just repeats itself about 7 times, I believe, on a piano. I'll have to check that on the internet because I don't play piano. But that C to C over here in your left hand, it just repeats itself again in like a second section, and then it does it again in like a third section, and then the fourth, which would be kind of close to the center of the piano, and then the fifth set, the sixth set, and the seventh set. I don't think there's an eighth, but I don't play piano, so I'm sure you could just hop on the internet and, you know, Google it after this video or something and figure that out. But if you've ever been curious about where the middle C is on a guitar, it's interesting because we have multiple middle Cs, and it's all about like a frequency range of that note. But just real quick, so you know, most things that you'll find on the internet, a middle C is going to be located on the first fret, second string. We obviously know that string open is a B, but if you were to press on the first fret, second string, you have a C4, C4, meaning that's the middle C note on a piano. So the 4 becomes, you know, these notes C to C, right, when they repeat themselves, it basically becomes the same note again, but it's at a different place, or it's at a different pitch. So if you go C to C on your left hand over here on a piano, you're in that first octave area, and if you jump it again, you're going to be in the second, repeating those same notes. You're going to be in the second octave of those notes, and then the third, the fourth, the fifth, sixth, seventh octaves. So the way a guitar is tuned, this your E is an E2, so we don't even make it as low on if we play guitar, our notes don't go as low as the piano notes. Now you can always tune your guitar to a different tuning to make that happen, but naturally the 6th string here, when you tune your guitar, for most players in the entire world for a long time, the 6th string has been tuned to an E2. The 5th string has been tuned to an A2. So again, remember where we're at on the piano, right? We're in the second section, playing the A note. The 4th string is a D3. So now we've jumped over to that 3rd section on the piano, and we're hitting the D note. The G string is a G3, so we're still in that 3rd area of the piano, playing the G now, right? The B is a B3. Now this is just how these strings are tuned open. This is a B3, right? And then the last, your 1st string here, is going to be an E4. So now we've jumped on the piano to the 4th section, where close where that C4 is, right? But we're playing the E note here. So the 1st string is tuned to an E4. So what does all this mean? It just simply helps, I think, if you're ever learning something on the piano, then you can relate where that's at on a guitar. Or for me, I've been trying to learn how to sing, and the singing I'm being taught is with a piano, not with a guitar. So there are things like, okay, let's play the let's see, let's just do it real quick so this makes sense on the strings. If we know our 5th string is an A2, what this means is we can go to the next note, the B, right? This would be a B2, and then, because remember the 2, the times when we change from 1, 2, and 3 is when we go from a C note to the next C note. So the first C note is a C1, the second C note is the C2, right? So if the 2nd fret, the 2nd fret, 5th string is a B, then this is, and it's a B2, then that means we're about to come up on a C, which means now we're at a C3. So this is a C3 on the 3rd fret, 5th string. So if someone were to say, all right, let's hum a C3, and they play this on a piano, you can play it right here. Now this also means that there are multiple middle C's on the guitar, but there's probably also multiple C3s on the guitar. And how can we find that? Well, you can find the other C, the octave, a higher pitch somewhere else, right? But the way to know that this is a C3 is the way we just did it, right? We know that this is an A2, this would be A sharp 2, this is a B2, this is a C3, right? But because we know that there's a C down here on the 5th fret, 3rd string, what is our 3rd string open again? It's a G3. So if we go G3, right, and then we go to the next note, which would be an A, we have, because musical alphabet, A to G, back to A, well, G sharp, A. We're at A. Now we had a G3, we have an A3, we have a B3, we have a C, here it comes, 4, C4. So we have a C3 here, we have a C4 on the 3rd string, 5th fret. Now, that's how you can figure out where the notes are. Just remember what your strings are tuned openly, and then you can kind of go down and figure them out. And real fast, if you want to go the other way on the guitar, instead of starting open and going down to figure out where your notes are at, you can start from the 12th fret as well and move backwards or move forward. If you have like an electric guitar, it'd be a lot easier to hit these other notes down here. But if this, remember, once you go from one note like C1 to a C2 or C to C, right? Then that's when you're in the 2nd set, right? And then you go to the next C, you're in C3, right? But the same thing, it doesn't matter if it's a C. Let's assume it's the E, like the E2, right? If you want to repeat the next E above that, the E3, then we already know that all the notes repeat themselves on the 12th fret. So this here on the 12th fret 6th string is an E3. So we had an E2 here, have an E3 here. So you can move forward from here or backwards from here if you want to. If you want to go backwards, you know that a whole step behind the E3 would be D, and it's a D3 because we're still in that area, the 3rd area of the piano, 3rd area of the guitar, those notes. And just real quick, there are multiple places where you can play the C4. Let's do this real quick. We know that this is our, so on an acoustic, it's going to be very hard to hit a C4 anywhere on the 6th string. It's just not really going to happen, I guess. We have it because we have, this is our 3. This is a C3 here. So the way to get to a C4 is going to have to be, I don't know if I have it on this guitar. We'd have a, we have to get from here, C3, to here. Let's see, now it's going to be, I don't have it on this guitar. What I'm doing is going 3rd to 5th, right? 3rd to 5th, 5 to 7, 5 to 7, yeah, so there it is. I do have it, right? Is that it? Yep. So all the way down from the 17, 18, 19, 20th fret on the 6th string. The 20th fret was a C4. You also have a C4 right there on the 5th string, 15th fret. You'd have another C4 right here on the 10th fret, 4th string. You'd have your other C4, we just learned it over here, on the 5th string, on the 5th fret, 3rd string, and then the C4 again that we first started talking about on the 1st fret, 2nd string. So hopefully that makes sense. So if you're ever trying to figure out something on piano and you want to relate it back to guitar, or if you just want to know where you're at, if you hear somebody saying something on piano but you only play guitar, now you have an idea of where your notes are on that piano. Or if you just see somebody playing something, you're like, you see something on the left hand on a piano, like in a video or out live, and you're like, I really want to figure out how to play that. You can kind of know where their left hand is now. You can figure out where you can play it on guitar and have it sound very similar. It's not going to be perfect, of course, because it's a guitar. But yeah, I just want to talk about that because it was interesting for me. I was never taught this, just something I had to search out or figure out with a piano. You know, you'd hit a note and figure out where it's at. But it took a while for me to ever realize that these open strings are actually ever tuned to E2, A2, D3, G3, B3, and E4. I had no idea. But I hope that helps somebody out there. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.